In this session, we're going to look at creating a 401k and a 401k match in the construction payroll module for Sage Intacct. To begin, we're going to be under Application, Construction Payroll, and you're going to go into the System Pay Modifiers. Once in the System Pay Modifiers, you can click Create New on the right side, and you can give this a ID or identifier. So in this case, I'm going to call it 401k. I'm going to use a space because I already have an existing 401k in there. What is the effective date? We'll say 1/1. And what pay category is it? So there is a particular separate pay category for a 401k setup in Sage Intacct. So we can select the 401k, and it will pre-fill the fields that are needed for this type of system pay modifier. What you can do here is you can enter in deferment limits and maximum earnings subject to. I'm going to enter in, I believe it's 22.5 for the deferred limit. And I'm going to have maximum earnings subject to matching. So if you have any particular rules as far as how much the maximum earnings is for matching as well, you can key in an amount for that. Now for the employee deduction side, we're going to leave the percent of earnings blank here because we're going to set that up in the employee master files as to how much they would like to defer. We're going to continue on here in the tax section. We're going to let the system know what taxes are going to be calculated after the 401k deduction. So for example, in this scenario, it would be federal income tax, and it would also be any state income tax. So let's assume this sample, it's Iowa. So it would be before Iowa state income tax. And you would fill out any tax that you would need to be pre-tax on this as well. As far as a base definition, we're going to tell the system that it's going to be based on time card earnings. You do have some options here, but typically it's going to be off of the employee's gross pay, and it'll be what's called time card earnings. And then you can elect to set up a match. So if your company has a employer match, you can come down to the matching rate section here. And so with one ID, you can actually do the employee and the employer side in the system. You don't need two separate pay modifiers for this. So you can come into the matching rate and you can click Add Definition. And then depending on your rules in the company, you could establish a matching rate and a maximum deferral rate. So for example, let's say you match 100% of the employee's contribution. You would type in 100% with a maximum deferral rate. So you only match up to 4%. So if the employee takes out 8%, you're only going to match up to the 4%. So you can say 4%. You can also do possibly where you match 50% of the employee's contribution, and then you can establish a maximum deferral rate as well. So let's leave it at 100% match up to 4%. Down in the bottom here, this is going to be for your W-2 reporting, and you can find your Atrix tax codes by going into the help system in the construction payroll, and you can actually find the codes underneath the tax types, tax tables in Atrix in the construction payroll help, and it will tell you which code you need to key in here for the pre-tax and the pre-tax match for your W-2. We're going to leave that blank for now. We're going to click Save. So now we have the 401k modifier set up. To add it to the employee, you're going to come into Construction Payroll, Employee. You're going to go down to the employee that you want to add it for. So in this case, we'll add it to Wayne Daniels. We'll go over to Pay Modifiers. And ignore this one. This is one that's already set up. You would come down to here and find the ID that you just set up. So in this case, it was the 401 space K. and you click it. And over here, it's going to pre-fill some of the information in. So you can put an effective date in. And for the employee contribution, you can key in either a flat amount or a percentage rate. So let's say this employee is going to hold 6% of their gross pay. So you can type that 6% in there and click Save. The 401k for that employee is now set up and it's ready to process for payroll. Thank you.